New polling data shows that concerns over immigration have skyrocketed, quadrupling in the last 48 months. Canadians are waking up to an issue that the Trudeau Liberals have been desperately trying to sweep under the rug. A new report from the Angus Reid Institute tells us that 1 in 5 Canadians now rank immigration as a top issue facing our country. It still places behind the big three: the cost of living, healthcare, and housing affordability. But make no mistake, immigration is becoming a bigger issue every day. Why is that? Because it's the driving factor for the big three. Unfettered immigration is subject to the rules of supply and demand. It drives up housing costs, drives down wages, and puts pressure on Canada's social safety net. And people are starting to make the connection after 9 years of the Liberals in power.
After 8 years of Justin Trudeau and the NDP, housing costs have doubled across Canada. In fact, the average rent has doubled, the average mortgage payment has more than doubled, the needed down payment for the average home has doubled. Justin Trudeau has inflated the cost of everything by printing $600 billion of cash, causing inflation, which bumps up interest rates and now forces Canadians into the prospect of losing their homes.
A booming population driven by record immigration numbers, both temporary and permanent, is putting pressure on housing and the job market. Young Canadians in particular are feeling the pinch. Think about it. 1 in 5 Canadians are calling unemployment a major issue. And why wouldn't they? This summer's job market was tough, and it's no coincidence it's happening while the number of temporary foreign workers grows.
If you want an idea of how I would run the immigration system overall, it's the way it was run for the 30 years prior to Trudeau being Prime Minister. We had a common sense consensus between Liberals and Conservatives for 3 decades that screened people to make sure they were safe, only brought in the numbers that we could absorb into our housing, healthcare, and job market, and blocked temporary foreign workers where they were taking jobs from Canadians.
The Liberal government's response to this mess? Well, they've announced plans to roll back some of the pandemic-era expansions to the temporary foreign workers program.
The announcement made today by Minister Boissonnault and by the Prime Minister is part of the piece of the puzzle related to the reduction of temporary workers from 7% to 5% that I announced earlier this year. This year's level plan, to be announced in a couple months, will take into account and give a fuller portrait of temporary residents and permanent residents in this country.
But is that going to be enough? Not likely. The move looks more like a desperate attempt to put a Band-Aid on a gaping wound. It hasn't done anything to boost the Liberal standings in the polls. Let's talk about these numbers. The Conservatives are leading by a massive 22-point lead nationally. Some polls even have them higher. And the Conservatives have the edge in every province except Quebec. Canadians are shifting to the right, and it's the Liberals who are losing ground fast. The NDP are too. Support for Trudeau's Liberals has collapsed in key battlegrounds like Ontario and Atlantic Canada, while the Conservatives under Pierre Poilievre are making significant gains. But let's be real here. Look at the numbers. While the Conservative Party is on the upswing, Pierre Poilievre still has work to do on his personal brand. Despite the surge in support for the Conservative Party, Poilievre himself remains polarizing. About half of Canadians still view him unfavorably, thanks to the mainstream media working hard to keep their bailout bucks from Justin Trudeau.
On the topic, I mean, in terms of your sort of strategy currently, you're obviously taking the populist pathway.
What does that mean?
Well, appealing to people's more emotional levels, I would guess. I mean, certainly you tap very strong ideological language quite frequently.
Like what?
Left wing, this and that, right wing. I mean, it's that type of ideological spectrum.
I never really talk about left or right.
But anyways,
I don't really believe in that.
Okay. A lot of people would say that you're simply taking a page out of the Donald Trump book.
Like which people would say that?
Well, I'm sure a great many Canadians, but...
Like who?
I don't know who, but...
Well, you're the one who asked the question, so yeah. You must know somebody.
But Poilievre is gaining ground. The more people have a chance to get to know him and realize the sky is not falling, and the far-right boogeyman mantra from the Liberal media is far from true. But the trend in all of this is undeniable. Canadians are looking for change, even as they aren't fully sold on the man leading the charge in the Conservative Party. That's how much Canadians dislike Trudeau. and his fake feminism and his fake concern for our families and our jobs.
Well, we got donuts over here if you want to thank you for your hard work.
I can bring some for my kids here.
Okay. The 25% tariffs we just brought in on Chinese steel to help you out.
That's going to keep my job,
That's
yeah.
What about the $400
40% taxes I'm paying, and I don't have a doctor?
The $400 million in investing in the car means you're going to have a job for
I think you're only here for another year. We won't see you around probably another year.
Well, that's what elections are for.
That's right.
And I look forward to everyone exercising the right to vote.
Yep.
And the basic choice, we're going to invest in you and your job.
I don't believe you for a second.
Dental care? Do you know anyone who got dental care?
Yeah, I pay for it myself.
Okay.
We're like 3 years behind.
You have a job and coverage?
Yeah, four people in my family. Every
seniors.
time we go for a dental visit, it's costing me about $50 in my pocket per person.
Okay.
Why? I have a good job. You're not really doing anything for us, Justin.
Well, actually, we just invested so 500,000 people who haven't been to the dentist got to go to the dentist over the past few months.
Probably like my neighbor that doesn't go to work because she's lazy.
You know what?
Doesn't go to work. She lives the same
Most
life I do.
Canadians try to stick up for each other, and that's what we're going to keep doing.
Yeah.
Good luck and prepare you for next year.
No, I'm good. Thank you.
All right.
Have a nice day.
Have a good day, sir. All right, the other guys got the donuts. Excellent.
Canadians are frustrated with the status quo, and they're starting to speak out. Concerns over immigration are on the rise, and Trudeau's Liberals have no real answers to the problems they caused. Meanwhile, the Conservatives are gaining momentum. The real question is, are they able to maintain that momentum into the next election? For Rebel News, I'm Sheila Gunn-Reid. The closer we get to the next election and the lower the Liberals fall in the polls, the more Trudeau is going to want to censor Canadians. But we're fighting back. Go to stopthecensorship.ca to sign our petition and to find out how you can get involved. That's stopthecensorship.ca.